A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you an RPG review today. As you can see, this is a review of the Dark Sun boxed set for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition. Now, Dark Sun was an expansion world that, when it was released, I never really kind of got into. It was just kind of a little too wacky and weird for my liking. I was a Forgotten Realms and Dragonlance fan. But the more that I actually read, especially the Dark Sun novels by Troy Denning, the Prism Pentad, and there's also another trilogy called The Tribe of One, I really started to fall in love with the world. Now, I know that a lot of people kind of love this setting, and I wish they would bring it back for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, but again, there's kind of going to be issues because a lot of the stuff here kind of deals with slavery and things like that, a lot of touchy subjects that people really don't want to discuss because everything has to be kind of inclusive now. And I understand that a lot of people don't want to talk about this kind of stuff, but it's my personal opinion that, it's just a fucking game. In the long run, if you don't like it, you don't have to purchase these products. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. Feel free to disagree with me if you like. That is perfectly fine. So, Dark Sun, this is a reprinting. I got this actually off Drive-Thru RPG. The boxed set came with these strange kind of flip books initially. I think they did a fantastic job reprinting this, by the way. You can see this was TSR back before Wizards of the Coast bought them out. So what is Dark Sun? Dark Sun is basically the world of Athos, where dragon kings have basically used magic to drain the life of the planet, and everything is kind of a desolate wasteland now. The magic system in Dark Sun is really unique, where you can either be a defiler who draws their magic from the life of plants and whatnot, or you can be a preserver. I think the biggest problem Dark Sun had was the reliance on psionics, which back in 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons, you needed a whole other book just to deal with those rules. 5th edition has made things a little easier, but I think that was one of the biggest issues. Also, with Dark Sun, you started your characters at level 3. Like, that's how harsh this setting actually was. So let's have a look at the book itself. Okay. So we have Chapter 1 ability scores, player character races, classes, alignment, proficiencies, money and equipment, magic, experience, combat, treasure, encounters, NPCs, vision and light, time and movement, and then finally Chapter 15 is new spells. I love that they kept the brown. I think that was really cool. So the races that you can be: dwarf, elf, half giant, halfling, mull, and thri-kreen, which was really interesting at the time. Now, this is back in the day when races came with negative ability modifiers as well as positive. That's kind of been thrown out. So you have your dwarves, your elves, which can run kind of really fast, half giants, halflings, humans, of course, mull, which is a cross between a human and a dwarf, and thri-kreen, which are like praying mantis people almost. What was interesting about this setting when I read more into it, like, when I was playing back in high school, I really wasn't interested in this, is the way that they tried to kind of subvert the races a little bit. Like, the elves are really, they have a lot of stamina, so they can run great distances. Halflings in the lore, there were cannibalistic tribes of them. And it's just little things like that that make this a really interesting setting. Then your classes. So you have your warrior classes. You could also be like gladiators and things like that. Your wizard classes, which you were either a defiler or a preserver. The priest, you basically have your clerics, Templars, and druids. Templars basically work for the Dragon Kings. The Dragon Kings are the rulers of Athos. Each city has its own kind of Dragon King. Your rogue is your thief and your bard, and you could also be the psionicist, which was a big deal because a lot of the monsters in this setting used psionics. So your warrior classes here, you have your fighter, gladiator, ranger. Your wizards were defiler and illusionist and preserver, of course. Then priest, you have cleric and druid. And you could also be a Templar and kind of work for the Dragon Kings. And the rogue had the bard and thief. And then you had your psionicist classes, which is very interesting. And you have alignments. I hear that many games are kind of doing away with alignments, but back in the day, you had lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful evil, neutral good, true neutral, neutral evil, and chaotic good, chaotic neutral, and chaotic evil. The money and equipment section is very interesting because metal is very rare on Athos. So it was basically, you had bone weapons and wooden weapons and things like that. Wizardly magic, defiling, all that kind of thing, experience, treasure, time and movement, and then your new spells that you could cast. So that was, because the boxed set came with like 2 books, that was just the first book, the rules section. And then we have the comprehensive guide to the lands and people of Athos, which is basically telling you about the world, the societies, all of that kind of a thing, geography. There's an atlas that gives you all the regions, which is a fantastic read if you're interested. It reads really, really well. Whoever wrote it was did a really good job of capturing the feel. Then you got the monsters. Now, those of you that remember 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons, remember these kind of monster sheets. And back in the day, these were actually in a loose leaf folder. They used to call it like a folio almost. And there would be like, a 3-ring binder that you would have. But you have the morale and all that kind of stuff. The THACO. Right there, the THACO is 15. THACO, for those of you that don't know, stands for to hit armor class 0. And if you had a higher, like if you had an armor class of say 9, then you would subtract 9 from 15. And if you had an armor class of say -2, you would add 2 to 15. And then that would be the D20 roll you needed to hit armor class of 0. This was something from 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons. It was really cool. The Braxet, the really interesting creature designs as well. Gith, silkworms, Tembos, just really great. And of course, you have an adventure. There's a story first, and then the Dungeon Master's book, an introductory adventure set in Dark Sun. Of course, this was all in a flip folder. It looks weird on the page. It was a very odd design choice, in my opinion, that they decided to go with like a flip book kind of thing, but there you have it. And then you have the maps and the art that you would be showing the players. And then errata for the Psionics Handbook. Now, this to me is a little weird. I mean, I enjoy that they actually included all of the large poster maps that would come with the setting. It doesn't really bother me, but it still kind of just looks a bit odd. So these are the big poster maps and the hex crawl maps that would kind of come with the boxed set. As you can see, like this is what you would get in the, there's the flip book there. So it does have the disclaimer. In order to explore the world of Dark Sun, you must have a copy of the complete Psionics Handbook. Whoops, there we go, right there. And back in the day, I wasn't a huge fan of the Psionics Handbook. I thought it was a little overpowered. That's just me personally. If you wanted to play a psionic character and you were rolling your character randomly, I believe there was like you had to roll a 99 or 100 on the percentage die to have psionics, but there you go. So this is Dark Sun. I desperately hope they bring this back. There are hints that they're bringing back the Dragonlance campaign setting, which is a setting that I absolutely fucking adore. But, you know, easily adaptable to a 5th edition campaign if that is what you want to do. I picked this up off Drive-Thru RPG. The price was really quite reasonable. So that is the Dark Sun World boxed set in a beautifully bound hardcover book. So there you go. If you like this sort of content, which not a lot of people do, judging by the views that I get, we are a relatively small channel, but, you know, whatever. Like, subscribe, leave a comment on what your favorite Dungeons & Dragons setting is or was or is going to be. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. I think we're on Instagram. I think Ian Van Gammett is on Instagram. So, yeah, follow him. He's a fucking awesome artist. And, yeah, stay safe, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.